when I was growing up, and I was learning how to play guitar, and didn't really, there wasn't worship like we have it today. And so I had this book, this brown book. It was called, it had a fish on it, and it was a Young Life thing, something I got from Young Life. And they had all kinds of songs in there. The Answer, My Friend, is Blowing in the Wind. We thought that was the Holy Spirit. I learned later that it was Bob Dylan, had nothing to do with the Holy Spirit. But had all these different songs. They had Peter, Paul, and Mary songs in there. And just these were the songs we sang to God as worship songs. And so I would sit in my room for hours, and I would just play these songs and close my eyes and sing to the Lord. And I would sense the presence of God. And I didn't have language to it. I couldn't tell you that I was sensing the presence of God. All I knew is that every time I did it, I felt so much peace. I felt so much joy. All the anxiety that I was experiencing was gone. And it was all I could do. It drove me to be there every evening. Every moment that I had, I would just spend. I wasn't watching TV. I was spending time in the presence of God. And I learned to live for the presence of God. I learned to expect the presence of God. I learned to tell the difference when God was here and when he wasn't here. And it was only because I spent time with him. And I could talk to people, and I could know in an instant whether they were telling me something from God or not, because I was so used to hearing his voice. Didn't know that it was his voice, but I was just hearing his voice in those times of prayer and worship as he would lead me and direct me as I would read his word. And his word became life to me. And so all of the significant moments of healing that have happened in my life have happened in those times of worship in the presence of God. That's where it's happened. That was the most important thing. And you know what? God took care of everything else. And God has taken care of everything else. God has provided for me in ways that I could never have provided for myself. And I've come to love him and know him as one who answers me, who establishes me, and I'm satisfied with him. I'm satisfied with his goodness. I'm satisfied with his presence. And it fills me with joy. And my only bummer in life is that I feel like this body that God put me in is so limited. It cannot scream loud enough. It cannot sing high enough to give God the glory that he is worthy to receive, because he is worth so much more. So much more than I could ever in one lifetime give him. And so I guess I'm just going to have to spend all eternity telling him how good he is. That's why I do what I do. Why do you do what you do? What motivates you? What's the most important thing to you?